Hello everyone, it's Angie here at Beads and Plenty More. Today I thought I'd show you this dainty little necklace that was actually inspired by the Netflix series Bridgerton. If you're watching along in the series, I hope you can spot it amongst all the different necklaces and pieces that are worn in that series. I think that the original one was made with chain, but I decided to use these little 2mm beads because they've got the nice little sparkle facet on the side, and it lended itself to the necklace. So the necklace I've actually got done here. I finished it off with a lobster clasp, and I've got a piece of chain with another little dangle at the back here. I did up a pair of simple earrings, just basically a little dangle at the bottom and a piece of wire with a few beads above it. But what I'm going to finish with you today is the bracelet. So in the necklace, there are 11 of these beads in between each of these little picots or three leaf clovers. In the bracelet, I actually only used 9. Sometimes you want to cheat things a little bit to make it just a little closer together on the bracelet, because the necklace you want to space things out, and the bracelet you want things to sit just a little tighter or they won't show. So I'm working with 26 gauge wire, and I'm cutting about 3 to 4 inches for each piece, each little picot. I will post a supply list at the end if you want to screenshot it. But these are 3mm pearls. And all I'm doing is I'm going to bring the 2 sides up, cross them over, so that I've got the 2 sides crossed over, and I'm going to bring the one around the other one. So that's the first step. And you want to take your time, make sure these wraps are fairly tight and even, because they, if they're too large, they will show as being a real bulky little piece there. So if I just trim this off, and I'm just going to take my needle nose pliers and tuck that little end in so it doesn't stick out. So to do that, I'm just really squeezing down on the end. Okay, so now we've got half of it done. And all I'm going to do is grab the round nose pliers, round barrels, round pliers, and I'm just going to grab and create a loop. So there's the loop there. Now, the round nose pliers will put marks on the wire. I'm going to hold with the needle nose pliers because they don't put marks on the wire. They won't squeeze through your wires badly. And then I'm just taking the tail and I'm wrapping down on top of the wraps that I already did. So once I've got something I like, I can just trim the tail end. So when I cut with the cutters, I want to cut with the flat side up against my work because I'll get a closer cut that way. Tuck my little tail end in. And then I'm working with fairly fine tiger wire because these beads didn't have real large holes. I've got the 0.012 tiger wire, and it's a 7-strand. So if I just thread that onto the end of my wire, and if I just add a few more beads, one trick I've got for keeping the beads, threading them easily, is to pull them off the thread. And I've got them lined up between my thumb and my finger, and I can just thread through them like that. So there, I think I've got the bracelet long enough now. So I'm going to take 2 crimp beads for this end. So these are 2mm crimp beads. I'm going to take one end of my clasp. I've got a lobster claw here. And I'm going to come back through the 2 crimp beads and through some of my beads at the same time. Now on this side, I'm just going to pull them up to the clasp. So before squishing that, I want to make sure my clasp can move freely around there. And then I'm just going to come in and squish the 2 crimp beads And I think I've gone through enough beads here, so I'm just going to trim this tail end off. Okay, so that's the one side done. I'm going to take the temporary end off. Those little spring ends, they're quite handy to have, especially when you're not sure of your pattern and you might be threading from both ends. So 2 crimp beads on this side. And this time I'm going to put a little piece of chain. Now, the chain that I put on the bracelet is shorter than the chain I put on the necklace because you don't want it hanging way down when you're wearing your bracelet. So I've gone through the 2 crimp beads and through a few of the beads. We'll just get this pulled up tight. Again, leaving just a little bit of space for it to move around, maybe just a little tighter. And then I'm just going to come in and squish those 2 crimp beads. So that's the bracelet pretty much done. I actually might add a little picot end on this as well. So with the 26 gauge wire here, cut another piece. Thread them if I can. There we go. Again, bring both ends up. So the one crosses the other end, and I'm going to wrap that one. Okay, again, tuck my end in. Now, here's the difference between the one I put on the bracelet and the one I'm going to put on the end clasp. At this point, when I've created my loop, I need to hook the loop. Because if I don't hook it, I won't be able to join it. Because this is a wrapped loop. So there's the hook. Got my loop. I'm just going to hold across the loop with the needle nose pliers and wrap the tail end. There we go. So there's the bracelet, necklace, and earring combo. Now this would probably make nice wedding jewelry if anyone's planning that. Hope you enjoyed that and have a good day.